Hey mates, and welcome to Blindformers. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we are going to be talking about Liege Maximo, the ultimate villain in all of Transformers, in my opinion. Please, like, share, and subscribe. If you're wondering what you found here, this is Blindformers, where I verbally instruct you on how to transform a Transformer from his robot mode or her robot mode into his or her vehicle mode, or from vehicle mode to robot mode. It all depends on how the Transformer comes out of the box. If it's out of the box in robot mode, that's where we start. If it's out of the box in vehicle mode, that's where we start. And today, we're going to be doing Liege Maximo, which was a big surprise to me. I was over at a place I call Redneck Walmart, and there were two leader classes on the shelf, Big Convoy and Liege Maximo. And I'm like, I don't have the money in the budget for this, but these days, how often do you come across a leader class figure in the wild, let alone two? So I got the Liege. I didn't have if I had the money for it, I would have gotten both of them. But Liege Maximo is definitely the one that I was leaning more towards, because I'm collecting the 13. All I'm missing now is Onyx, Nexus, and Vector. I just can't seem to find an Onyx Prime anywhere. It's just been a hassle. But luckily, I was able to find this one, and and I had the Sideswipe donated to me by an individual who absolutely enjoys the channel. So Autobot Bro, thumbs up to you, mate. Thanks for the help. So let's get to today's video without further ado. And first and foremost, I like to kind of give an initial review of the robot mode. I used to separate it into a second video, but I don't have the time for that anymore. I'm busy. So we're going to just move this guy and talk about him in his robot mode, and I want to discuss some very unique things that I like about it, and a couple of things that I don't like about it. But mainly, I like a lot about this robot mode. I like how big and clunky these feet are, how long his heels are. They're really nice. He's got this really cool textured shell thing on his lower leg, and then on the front of the leg, you've got this really nice spiky armor stuff. Like, this guy feels like a bruiser. And he's in the story, he's apparently a master manipulator. He's actually, his little weapon really helps with that. Now, this is something I did want to point out. This is something I really love whenever I come across it, is the thighs here are textured. They're not just simple rectangles. They actually have some texture to them. In addition, they're glossy in some places, and I love that about these thighs. They never give us anything like that, and it's always really cool whenever you get a chance to have something like that. And especially the fact that his thighs are really long too. His little skirt only covers half of them, and I'm used to robots getting that skirt covering the majority of their thigh. But he does have a thigh swivel at the midpoint of the thigh. He has a really great double jointed knee. He has an ankle tilt, which we always love. There is no sort of rotation down there at the lower leg, but it's okay. That mid-thigh rotation's pretty awesome. The forward is really stiff, and I just dropped his gun. The backwards is really stiff. The side is not as stiff, and I don't know why that always is the case, but it is the case with this. So there's his crazy gun. Coming up here to his core. His core rotates 360 degrees. I like these skirts. They're just really cool to feel. You get these unique textures going on here. There's some bumps and grooves, and it really feels like somebody made this armor out of something nasty. This guy is he just exudes malice, even by the textures on him. It's just all creep vibes and nastiness. Up here in his chest area, we've got this crazy bulbous chest, and I think it's asymmetrical, because there's a bit more. No, it's kind of the same on both sides. There's these curves in here. There's these dips. A little hollow spot in there in the chest area. you got these diagonals that come up from the side to kind of make a triangle about where his pecs should be, I think. And so instead of an abs, he's just kind of got this weird triangle thing going on there. It's odd, and it just adds to his creep factor, in my opinion. It just, it makes him feel creepy. We come up here to his upper body. You've got these little, like a little collar bit that comes off on the side, and on each side of him where his shoulders line up. And he does have these really cool spiky pauldrons. I always love me some pauldrons, especially when they're spiky. Spiky pauldrons are the best pauldrons. And then, right around his head area, we've got some more of this really cool chest plate. It's really, really nice. And then we're going to go over here to his arms, and I'm going to talk about his head in a second because I want to discuss these arms. So his upper arm doesn't have much in the line of textures right there, but it does have a good amount. We do get some good textures here, and I do like that bicep rotation. There is only a 90 in the elbow, but it's okay. And then we come over here to the hand. His hand is articulated. The four fingers can move up and down, and the thumb is on its own little joint, so it can move side to side, which is really cool, and it really helps the transformation. So you can put that thumb on top and have him hold the gun sideways if you want him to be like gangster or something. I don't know, but that's really cool. I think the long fingers are just weird, and I do wish there was a second joint in amongst these so that you could like close the fingers and then close the fingers again and give him this crazy fist. I think that would have been neat. But his lower arm also has this really crazy blade thing on it that sticks out a bit on his on his blanking bracer. He's got this weird piece that's arched, and it really comes into play in transformation and works out pretty good. So that's the right arm. The left arm is different because the left arm is the same as the right arm, except where the hand's involved. There's actually a cannon that rotates out, and you can rotate that back in and reveal his hand. Or you can rotate that down and you reveal the cannon. And, I think that's to symbolize that, like, Shockwave comes from Liege Maximo's stock. A lot of the Transformers that have a gun arm come from Liege Maximo's stock, I'm assuming. So that's Liege Maximo, most of him. We come up here to his head, and this is where it really shines. He's got this crazy crown that's made of rubberized stuff. It's really neat. And this just... it's a face. It's a face that only a mother could love. And then we come over here. He's got these cool horns that are bendy. Oh, they're squishy. They just set on either side of him. Like he just is always spiky. He's got all these spikes around his head area. It's cool. And then you come over around here to his back, and his backpack is, of course, this big old crazy spiky thing that's got like Unicron horns. And you have big horns, one on each side, and they're very reminiscent of Unicron. And then, of course, there's jetpacks down there, so he can fly. Yay, flying! All right, nuts. Where did that go? I was about to talk about you. So this is his little gun that he comes with. A little, I think this gun may be the size of Bumblebee, and this has 3 different parts. We've got this like chainsaw part. We have a big bulbous thing part. It's weird. I don't know what. Maybe it's a bomb or something. I think that's supposed to be the mind control ray. Maybe. And then we have this other one that has a little kind of... It feels like it's a missile or something. And it's got little ridges in it and stuff. And it's very flat, except at the end where it's very conical. And once you pull all those off, you're left with this weird gun that has 3 siege ports on it, and that's about it. Do we still call them siege ports, or are we just back to calling them 5mm ports? But you know what? Siege ports is cooler. I'm not stopping. You can't make me. Now, that is Liege Maximo and his weapons in robot mode. And before we get into the transformation, we are going to do a quick comparison with Megatronus. Give me Megatronus. Give me my Megatronus. Come here. Megatron. Come here. I forget how heavy Megatronus is. Here's Megatronus and Liege Maximo together. I think these two work well together as brothers. They are both just beasts, and you can tell one is definitely made for something different than the other. But they are the bruisers of the 13. These two guys can take a lot of hits. They're big, chunky dudes. They can dish out what they can take. I can't wait to get Onyx Prime so I can have all three leader classes next to each other. I think that would just be exciting. But there they are, shoulder to shoulder. You see that Liege Maximo and Megatronus are on the same scale. They are the same height. They are basically twins. Fraternal, but they're twins. A lot of them is similar, but they are completely different transformations, completely different everything. But when it comes to weight and height and stuff like that, they are almost the same in those categories. So we're going to put Megatronus back over here off to the side. We're going to bring out Megatronus. Megatronus, stop that. Megatronus, stop that. That is something that I don't like about Megatronus that I really appreciate about Liege Maximo. Nuts. Megatronus heals suck. And Megatronus does that every now and then where he just falls backwards. Liege Maximo has epic heals. And epic heals are nice. I really appreciate those. So here's Liege Maximo compared to Prima Prime. There we go. And, funny enough, I always imagined Prima Prime to be female. I just, with a name like Prima, I just assumed female. And so, in my headcanon, she is Prima Prime. I know, and some people I may get some hate for that, but I don't care. I think there should be more female representation in Transformers, and why not have the one that wields the crazy awesome sword be a female as well? Because why not? I mean, we get Megatronus as guys. He's got all the guns. Prima comes up to Megatronus's. Megatronus. Just double check all that. Yeah, Prima comes up to Megatronus's collarbone. And it's ridiculous in difference in sizes there. Megatronus stands a bit taller shoulder-wise above Prima, and as pauldrons go, Megatronus's pauldrons are better than Prima Prime's pauldrons. And Megatronus also has Prima on the weight category, that's for sure. We're going to set Prima over here next to... I even say Megatronus when I meant Liege Maximo. See, my mind confuses the two. Here is Quintus Prime. Quintus Prime, funny story, I forgot to get his weapon out of his box. And then, I went on a trip and stuff, and I put the box somewhere, and now I don't know where the box is. So I gotta figure out how to get a hold of Quintus Prime's weapon. He comes up midway up the chest of Liege Maximo, and, definitely his shoulders are a lot lower than Liege Maximo's shoulders, but Quintus Prime, doesn't even have shoulder pauldrons to compare. So, Quintus, you suck at that. You need more shoulder pauldrons. We all need more shoulder pauldrons in our Transformers. We all need them. But his shoulders go up to Liege Maximo's elbows. Okay, do we have another one to compare, or are we done with the comparison? We're done with those comparisons. I just wanted to compare him to Megatron, because I like comparing evil to evil. So Megatron, 86 version, of course, his top of his head goes up to the the forehead of Megatronus. So Megatronus' cool spiky crown, and the rest of his head is taller than Megatron. Shoulder-wise, Megatronus and Megatron are nearly on the same level. Actually, their shoulders are identical in height. It's kind of funny. But Megatronus' upper body is a bit more built up, and that's where we get the size difference. And he's also got a slightly bigger head. So there we go. Weight-wise, though, these guys weigh very similar. Though for Megatron is got a little more weight, but not much more. Megatron and Megatronus feel like they're about equal in weight, and Liege Maximo just feels like a little less. So that was us talking about the size comparisons and stuff. Let's get into his actual transformation. And his transformation isn't really there's a lot of steps, but it's not that difficult. So first thing you want to do, and we're going to try and do this transformation without these shoulder pauldrons falling off, but I'm not sure if we can manage it, but cross our fingers. Okay. Push both of the shoulder pauldrons all the way up. Excuse me. Then take his arms and fold them out on their butterfly joints that I forgot to mention, but they're not just butterfly joints, they are also locking pins. So once those are gone, we can then kind of take and fold his entire chest out. But it's going to be a little difficult. His chest does not like to come out. It is, it fights you. It fights you every step of the way, but there it goes. There is a clasp midway down the chest that snaps into a, actually it's about halfway down the chest, and it snaps into a little hole inside of the chest area. And I find that the best thing to do is to grab him by his upper arms in your hand, thumb on one upper arm and middle finger on the other, and just wrap your fingers kind of around him and just pull on that front after you've disengaged both arms, but pull kind of in the center of the chest. That's where that clip is, and so you don't break it. Now we're going to come around here to the back, and we're going to pull away his spikes. So I'm going to rotate these spikes upwards, and rotate these spikes upwards. There we go. And then we're going to pull away the spikes, and there's this little trap door behind his head, and that's going to pull away as well. Now you may want to just push his head back, but no, don't do that. It's hard to get his head out of this compartment. There's no way. They don't have a little secret area that you could unfold where you can just kind of push your finger in and push this head out. This is a little cup area, so be careful when putting this head in. You'll have to figure out how to get it out. So rotate the head 180 degrees and then push it in, okay? This way you have some grippage on the back of the head where you can kind of grab more and pull that head back out. And the head also pulls out very easily in this way. It's a little harder to pull out the other way, but there we go. Come here, little. Come here. He did. Here it is. All right, so there you go. That's how you do it. 180 degrees. Trust me on that one. I screwed up enough times where I'm not making that mistake anymore. I don't want you to make that mistake either. Now that the head's folded up, we can go ahead and fold the chest plate up all the way. Okay. Now, we're going to come around here to the spiky bits we talked about a second ago, and they're going to fold down over where that head just folded in, and then the spiky bits themselves are actually going to fold down again on their own hinges, where that long spike is going to rest between his breasts on his chest plate. Next step is we are going to move the arms, and we're going to rotate them down to inside of the chest cavity that was revealed. All right, and they're each just going to kind of hang out in there. There we go. Now rotate. First off, get his hand out of here. So I had his gun out. We're just going to rotate his hand so his gun is no longer out. Then rotate the arm so the bracer weapon that we talked about earlier is facing upwards. And if you feel around that area, you're going to find on that same side as the bracer's little blade, there's this little peg that sticks out. And if you feel under the edge of the chest plate, you'll find there's a hole for that peg to fit in. And we just got to get that peg to fit into that peg hole. It may take you a bit, because he does like to fight you in this part of the transformation. He doesn't like transforming. But there's that first one, and now we got to get this one in. Come on. Come on now. It's not going to take you a second. Just push that in. There it goes. And then you didn't push in either. There you go. Okay, both of those are pushed in. Now we're just going to give them a little force. There we go, but not much. Now, these hands are weird in the transformation, and you can kind of spin them around, and I think it's best to set them up so that they're both just kind of facing outwards, hands out. We can fold the hands up if we need to, but for a part of the transformation, it's really nice if actually the hands are facing downwards. There we go. Yeah, that's better. That's better. And then fold the thumb so the thumb is not sticking straight up. We're just going to fold it. Yeah, we'll just stick the thumb straight up on both of them. There we go. There we go. Okay. So your hands should be facing out and fingers down towards the ground, palms outwards. All right. Now you've got this upper body complete, basically. We're going to come around here to his horns, and this is a weird step, okay? So it feels like this is supposed to kind of lock into place with this rounded bit that is revealed at the rear of all the spiky stuff. If you feel down there with your fingers, you'll find that there's kind of a rounded joint area. And it feels like it should lock into place, but mine doesn't want to. It never wants to. I don't know why. I mean, I may be not giving it enough force, but it kind of wants to, but then it just refuses to do that last lock. It refuses to lock. Like, it wants to lock, but then if it tries, it pops out the bottom. So I just kind of push it in there a bit and hope for the best. All right, so that's the upper body. Now here comes a trick that this one took me a while to figure out with him. His legs have a snap in here that makes them fold backwards, okay? I know. It took me forever to figure that out. So what we're going to do, and it's not easy, grab his upper body in one hand and then pull his lower body right above. So you got his groin, and then you're going to have this little square area that's on a beam thing. And that is going to be the thing that is right above the waist rotation. And that is the piece that unfolds from the midsection of his core. So there's two things that unsnap from this midsection of the core. The chest plate unsnaps and the legs unsnap. Now we can fold the legs backwards. And they're going to just kind of easily fold there. And we forgot one crucial step. Rotate the legs 180 degrees, please. There we go. Now, don't fold that back up. Okay. Now we're going to fold this back till it locks. It locks in place very well. Now, these little pipes on the sides of his legs, which you're like, what are these for? They do disconnect. Move them now. They each disconnect. Now the leg will kick forwards or kick upwards all the way, okay? Now come up here to his foot before you kick it forwards all the way. Fold the heel in all the way. So just grab his heel and fold it forwards and leave the foot just kind of being a foot. Now do the same on this side. Fold that all the way forwards. Leave the foot being a foot. All right, now kick it all the way. There we go. And it should just kind of rest in here. There we are. And you get kicked around all the way till you rest in this little general area here. There we go. Now, these side panels we talked about in the robot mode where I was describing them, these actually unfold, so you're going to grab them around the knee area and you're just going to kind of unfold them from the side of the leg. They do like to fight you. They don't like to move very well. And the best way I found is move them backwards. So find the front of the leg and that little panel at the top where the knee's at, and then push on that top where the knee's at. At the same time you're moving that lower section, and it should, there it goes, pop out. You're going to have to wiggle it around a bit and play with it to get it to do right. But once you pop it out, rotate it all the way out, and then on this little hinge on the side, you're going to rotate it backwards, okay? And that is going to give you the correct size. It should give you the correct everything to make this final bit of transformation, possibly. Maybe I had that part wrong. Let's see. Okay. Let's get this part right. This is the weird leg thing is always trips me up. It always trips me up. It's just there's a lot of joints in here. There's not many, but there's still enough to move it around in unique ways. And I could have the legs backwards, but I'm pretty sure I don't. Let's make sure of that. So the heel should be facing towards the hands, and the toes should be facing away from that. Yep, the legs are correct in their orientation, that's for sure. We'll just move that piece there. Now, this guy on the side, we're just going to rotate you around till you get the right shape. There it goes. I had to push it against the side to remember the right shape. All right, so what you're going to do is there's a little spiky bit on the end of this panel that has on its own little hinge, and it sticks out a bit. That's going in the front. And there's a little rectangle cutout on this side panel, and that's also going towards the front. You can assume the rear is the part with the engines and the horns. That was his backpack. So we're going to come around here to the other side, and we're going to get that panel disconnected from the other leg. Okay, come on, push away from the leg. You never want to listen to me. Come on now. We are doing a video today. Don't fight me every single time, you stupid leg panel. Every time it fights me. Every time. Okay. Here we go. Come on, there it goes. It finally disconnected. All right. Now we rotate it around and stick it up. Okay. Now let's go ahead and find my arms. Make sure the arms are still connected. They are. Get these legs together. Feeling the inside of the legs, you're going to find that each of these legs has a peg and a hole, and that will make them, and around the knee area, it's pretty easy to find. And it's around the knee area. Yeah, it's basically right behind the knee. So find the knee pad, and then follow the armor around to the inside of the leg, and you'll find on one leg there is a little square thing that has a hole cut out, and the other leg there's a little square thing that has a peg sticking out of it, and they merge together. It's not squares, it's rectangles, but you know what I mean. They merge together, and that gets nice and tightened down. I'm going to squeeze you up. There it goes. Okay, now time for the balancing act. Yes, the balancing act. Where's his gun? Did I lose a shoulder pauldron? I tried so hard not to lose a shoulder pauldron. We only lost one. Yeah. So let's go ahead and put the shoulder... We'll put the shoulder pauldron back when we're done. We'll put it back when we're done. Now, let's find his gun. I know I put it somewhere around here. Here it is. Okay. So we're going to get his gun. We're also going to get the stupid fat thing, because I like the stupid fat thing. And we're going to break his gun and transform it. It's going to... You just pull, find the hinge on it, and then go to the other side and pull that out. It's going to fold around, and then you're going to get actually the little peg that he holds is now going to be on the same side as all these little spots where the guns went. Now I'm going to put the fat gun at the bottom. There we go. I use it to kind of help lock everything in place. Now at the top of this, we have this little slope bit that feels like a little rectangle, and it matches the hole cut in this plastic here for his for the front of his spaceship mode. So we're just going to kind of sweep that into the underside. And this is that moment where I'm making sure the hands are folded correctly, because if the hands aren't folded correctly, it's going to screw up how this gun fits. And I may have to fold the hands again. It all depends on how everything fits. It really just does. So, okay, slide that in. Kind of hold it in place with your middle finger as you're using your left hand and your right hand together to shove those panels together. And then you take the little spiky bits on the sides. You make sure they're folded downwards. And now we just take the last two pieces of his guns, and we can put them in many places. I like to come up here and get his pauldron reattached. Where's your pauldron connection? Oh, there it is. So we're just going to connect the pauldron there. Come on, Mr. Pauldron. Come on, Mr. Pauldron. Connect. There it goes. There it is. There's Mr. Pauldron. He's connected. Wow, he's so spiky. Okay, now I'm going to take one of these guys, and I'm going to attach it to the underside of the pauldron where there's a 5mm port. There we go. And then I'm going to take the other guy and move around here, and I'm going to connect him to the underside of the pauldron where there's a 5mm port there. And now they're like little escape pods, or like I think of them as fillers. You know, you now fold the shoulder pauldrons down. If this guy would just please stay connected. Please stay connected, Mr. Right Shoulder Pauldron. I really appreciate you if you do. Thank you. And then you just kind of fold them down, and they just kind of give it a cooler silhouette, a different shape, if you will. But that is how you transform Liege Maximo from his robot mode into his vehicle mode. And his vehicle mode is really unique. I have to say that it is unique, okay? This is weird. You get his guns in the front, and then there's a little rocket area there, so he can push backwards to stop, because he's obviously a deep space traveling vessel. He's got the brake on the front, and we've got this smooth exterior at the top. He's got these horns that stick out on the sides, and I like to think they shoot laser beams, because, you know, horns in anime on machines always shot laser beams. And then he's got the bigger horns on the rear that stick forwards, and they assume they shoot laser beams too. This backpack thing with its two jets, it's all just smooth on the top. You know, you got the crazy horn stuff happening, but otherwise these are smooth panels, and it's really really cool in my opinion. We come down here to the underside of him, and The underside works out very well to make it seem like this is the underside of an old spacecraft. So you have all these armor plates that are all intricately kind of woven together, and he feels more like a work of art that can fly than an actual spacecraft. So let's finish it up by seeing if I can grab a couple of things to compare him to in amongst the 13 primes. Who's in vehicle mode? Anybody? Other than number 13? Well, the 13 is in vehicle mode, but he's big. Let's see, who do I have over here? I got Alchemist. So here's Alchemist Prime in his crazy vehicle mode. There we go. There's Alchemist. Now I'm going to put Alchemist's nose of his vehicle mode at the front, and we get the rear of Alchemist is just about where the spikes end at the roof of Liege Maximo. Weight-wise, Liege wins. I'm not even going to try that one. Now let's see there. Do I have another one transformed in vehicle mode up here? We have Soulless, which is, this guy ended up, spoiler alert, making Soulless perish by manipulating people. And Soulless is just the rear of Soulless ends right where the spikes begin on his rear. There we go. And a lot less on the weight department too. And then, nope, that is it. Because the 13's really behind some stuff. So, my final grade for this product, I'm going to have to say that his robot mode is S tier. I think his robot mode's got a lot going on for it. It's got a lot of textures. It feels amazing in the hand. It's weighty. He is stable. And because of those heels and how the weight is dispersed on him, he's not just top heavy or bottom heavy. He's heavy all over. And that is very important when dealing with a bigger transformer. If he's got too much weight at the top and not enough weight at the bottom, he's going to tumble. This guy is very well balanced, in my opinion. For a transformer, he's got a good weight differential going on, and his articulation is really well done. I like the fact he's got opening and closing hands. I like the fact that one hand can rotate and become a gun. I also appreciate the fact he's got some butterfly joints in his shoulders. Those are really awesome things. All the other articulation, double jointed knees are always a plus in my opinion, and he's got it. He's also got some really nice heels. Again, I'll mention those heels because I really appreciate that my Liege Maximo doesn't fall over. He just sits there and is menacing. And that's what I want from Liege Maximo, is to just be the leader and the manipulator of a bunch of stuff. He's really cool. Now, I'm going to have to give his robot mode an S. His transformation, very cool. I like the fact that these center parts snap out from each other in a unique and interesting way, and that's something I really like in transformations. If you bring me something that's intuitive and it's also new and unique, it's going to be memorable in my opinion. And that's where this guy wins in the S category as well for transformation. This is a very amazing transformation, and I really do enjoy it. There's some sticky parts, but for the most part, he's good. And his transformation is a lot of fun. And then you get this weird, wonky vehicle, and it's just so freaky. And it feels like ancient Cybertronian kind of stuff. It works. It works for the medium that this is in the context it's given. This guy's vehicle mode is top-notch. And I'm going to have to give his vehicle mode an S ranking too, because it doesn't do much, but I think it's just cool. I really like unique and interesting sci-fi vehicles. And as a blind person transforming this, having no idea what in the world this thing, it's got horns, and it's got little horns and spikes and pauldrons, but what is the shape it becomes? When I transformed in the first time, I asked my roommate, I'm like, okay, so how does this look? And he goes, I don't know how you did it, but somehow the front is further front than it should be. And I don't even know how I did that then. So I had to figure it out, and I learned about the snap in the waist, and that's why I pointed that out to you, because that was something that that I mistransformed him a bunch, trying to figure out how to get him right. And I knew there was something to do with that hinge, but I couldn't figure out how to get that hinge to operate. So S category for the vehicle mode, because it fits perfectly well in amongst the 13 primes, in my opinion. But I've blathered on long enough about this guy. Go out and get yourself a Liege Maximo. A Liege Maximo if you can find one. I hope you can find one. I'm still looking for an Onyx Prime, because they just never saw one in the wild, and they weren't available on. They sold out on Amazon. So if you got any tips or tricks on where to find an Onyx, let me know, because I need to get one in the next couple of months. I would love to finish the 13 by the end of the year, and I think I'm on the verge of doing that. All I have left, once again, Nexus, Onyx, and Vector. So I have 10 out of the 13. I'm pretty satisfied with that so far. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.